Hi guys, today I'll review one of my favorite shapes, the G-Wolves Hati S Plus. Since the mouse market is quite dry right now, I decided to try out some shapes I have missed but have caught my eye at some point, and the Hati S Plus was one of them. The Hati S Plus Classic is what I have here, is the cheapest version of the three models sporting this shape. The Classic, the Ace and the 4K version. The Ace has the 3395 sensor, the 4K version has a 3399 sensor with the Nordic MCU and is capable of 4K polling. This here, the classic version, is like the bare bones version of all these three, since it has the 3370 sensor with the Comp X MCU, so no motion sync or over 1000 Hz polling rates on this one. Shortly about the unboxing, the unboxing experience on this one was an experience for all your senses, since somebody had dumped his personal fragrance collection to the box with all the knickknacks, and our office room has smelled like vanilla ever since. Honestly, I like vanilla. Let's talk about the shape first. Honestly, it is just phenomenal for my relaxed claw grip. It is a fairly small ambidextrous mouse with a chunky hump in the middle. It narrows down in the middle and flares out towards the front a bit, similarly to the Viper Mini. This front flare is something not all people will love, but I can get a really consistent grip with this, and the added height on the hump provides great stability. Every time I grip this mouse, it fills my palm very naturally and my fingers rest next to the scroll wheel while my thumb rests next to the sensor. I'd say it is one of the best ambidextrous shapes for my hand size at the moment, and my hand size is 17.5 and 10.5 centimeters. So that's a reference for you guys. Then let's talk about the clicks on this mouse. They are fantastic. This mouse is sporting the zippy switches, which remind me of a mixture between Huano Blue Shell Pink Dots and the Japanese Omrons. They are very snappy with moderate actuation force and are, in my opinion, tuned to perfection, at least on my copy. The pre and post travel are very low on my unit, and this is achieved by very clever shell design. The scroll wheel is using the TTC Gold encoder and is feeling good, sounding good, performing good, so not much to say about that. It performs well. The middle click on the scroll wheel is somewhat heavy, which is extra noticeable on a mouse this light. Keep that in mind if you are a big mouse wheel clicker. The side buttons are overall nicely positioned for my hand, but the back one is kinda mushy. I haven't had any issues using them in game, however, and the back button hasn't been stuck inside the shell like on some copies, I believe, but yeah, a bit mushy on the back button. Here is a quick sound test of all the buttons. The build quality is also very solid for a mouse that's around 50 grams in weight. The shell implementation is stupidly genius, since they are supporting the sides with the PCB. As you can see, there's these small rods there which negate any significant side flexing. This way they are capable of cutting the weight down so much while maintaining a really solid build quality. After 3 weeks of usage, there is some creaking happening on the top part of the mouse, but it is still less than on my Death Adder V3 however, so it is not an issue that's happening only on G-Wolves mice. And since it's happening only on the top part, I rarely notice the creaking in use. The sideways wobble on these mouse buttons is also almost non-existent, and I can feel any grinding while bottoming out the switches. So all in all, really nice build quality in my opinion. The mouse is really lightweight. It's only 52 grams on my scale, so it is so far the lightest mouse I own. Personally, the weight of the mouse plays a somewhat small role in my preferences these days, but honestly, a mouse this solid at this weight is a really nice feeling in hand. The weight balancing is also very centered on this mouse. The surface of this mouse is a bit slippery for my hand, and I'm not sure if there is any coating whatsoever. Luckily, they provide you with some beautiful red grips that break if you decide to change their position a bit. Thankfully, the combination of the shape and the weight makes it so the mouse doesn't slip from your sweaty hand however, but I wonder how much weight would a better coating add to this shape. The performance is just as you would expect from a 3370 sensor Comp X MCU mouse, so around 1 milliseconds of motion latency, which is on the similar level as on the other mice with these similar specs. The sensor position is also very good for me, and it is a bit towards the front, so for my hand size it sits right at the perfect position, right next to my thumb. It is typical that on the smaller mice the sensor placement goes a bit more towards the back of my hand, which then makes my aim to not feel as responsive to the movements of my fingers. Why does this matter so much to me? Well, I like to use a pencil analogy. Imagine writing with the pencil where the tip is on your palm. Not very precise, isn't it? The further up the sensor is, the more the mouse moves with the flick of the wrist, and the more responsive it feels to your micro corrections from your fingers as well. The battery life on this mouse is quite horrendous due to the usage of a fairly small battery. It lasts about 2 to 3 days of good usage, so it needs to be charged quite often. But this is what you get with weight reductions. Batteries are heavy, so a smaller battery is the easiest way to achieve some weight loss. Then the skates. They are quite bad on a cloth pad, and luckily they provide you with an extra set you can throw away too. But honestly, they are usable on a hard pad, but I'm not sure how long they would last. And probably most of the HTS Plus users know this already, but go get some Viper mini skates for this, since they are like 100% fit, and luckily G-Wolves kept the base flat, so you have the freedom to choose the skates of your liking. Viper mini skates are the best, and Viper Ultimate skates work great as well. Then the pricing. I got this mouse from Amazon Germany for about 90 euros, so this particular model can be considered a budget wireless mouse at the current mouse prices. However, the more expensive versions of this mouse are fairly expensive, especially the 4K version. I would like to see the 4K version to be priced around 130 euros max, especially considering the fact that you probably need to get aftermarket skates for this, and those cost money as well. I understand that G-Wolves is one of the 2 manufacturers alongside Razer doing 4K polling mice, and of course they are billing some extra for that luxury. Maybe after other brands have their 4K polling mice out, we start seeing some price drops in the 4K polling mice. Lastly, I want to mention one weird feature on this mouse, which is the lack of a power button. It is not a huge hindrance, but just a bit comical to use a plastic stick to power your mouse on or off. But hey, anything for a significant weight loss. In conclusion, this is a great lightweight wireless mouse with a fantastic shape. There are some major things I absolutely love in this mouse, like the shape, the clicks and the build quality, but then there are some minor annoyances. It is definitely a safe shape to recommend, especially for a hand that's similar to my size, which is 17.5 and 10.5 centimeters. So that's about it. Let me know in the comments what mouse should I try next, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.